Touch.
People always talk about my come up, cause I've been going on every summer. Pussy wanna talk about numbers, but you manage your buying twice, show so bummy, ain't nobody out now that can touch us.
Hey guys, Happy New Year if I didn't say that in my previous video. But being that it's the new year, I thought it would be a great time to talk about my diagnosis story and the events that led up to me being born with type 1 diabetes in this world. I was actually born with type 1 diabetes. For everyone who's new to my channel, hi. My name is Morgan Dinwiddie. I'm 18 and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes on May 8th of 2017 at the end of my junior year. My diagnosis story is pretty much a normal diagnosis story in the fact that I was diagnosed with a really high blood sugar and I was taken to the ER. What makes my diagnosis story really interesting is about a month after I was diagnosed, the doctors thought I had type 2 diabetes. So it started off in late December, early January, going into 2017. I noticed that I was just drinking a lot more water. I was doing more outside, I should say, more activities, but I was drinking more water than I should have been. Fast forward a couple months, it's March. I work out every day after school because I'm in sports, I'm in football. I'm noticing that I'm drinking a lot of water and I'm going to the bathroom a lot more. There are times that I'm going to the bathroom 3 times in an hour and I'm leaving class twice to go to the bathroom and get a drink. I go to work out after school and our trainer, who has a master's in biology, I tell him I'm drinking like 1.5 gallons of water a day and I'm still thirsty. He's jokingly saying, you know, well, you're just one healthy kid. I'm really serious about this because I know it's really weird for me and I've never drank near as much water. So I go home and I tell my dad the same thing. I say, Dad, I'm drinking a lot of water, but I'm still thirsty. And he just doesn't know what to say about it because I need to drink more water. So he's almost thrilled that I'm drinking more water. Fast forward a couple weeks, I noticed that I was around 165, 166, and I was eating 3,500 calories a day. I noticed I weighed myself a week later and I'm 160 pounds. I've lost 5 pounds in a week. Well, in my head, I'm thinking, that's not right. I've been eating 3,500 calories a day, more than enough to gain weight, if I might add. I'm really tired. Like, I'm going to bed at 6 and 7 o'clock p.m. and I'm sleeping all the way through to my alarm. And that's causing me to not do my homework and all that stuff. And it's really hindering my school life because my grades are suffering because of the symptoms of type 1 diabetes. I'm going to bed at 6 and 7 o'clock at night, sleeping all the way through to 6 in the morning. I'm still dragging throughout the day. I'm really tired in every class and it's hard for me to comprehend things. I'm sitting down at the table with my friend Sam. I downed 2 smart water bottles. I sit there and I look at them and I say, wow, I'm still thirsty. My friend Sam looks over at me jokingly and says, maybe you have diabetes. At first we chuckle, we both laugh, and then we just shrug it off. But me being the person I am, I went home that night and I looked it up. I legitimately thought I had diabetes. Come about mid-April, my symptoms were getting so bad that they were noticeably affecting my school life and affecting the way that I act around everybody. So we went to the urgent care and they told me that I had the flu. But it was already a few days into its course. At the doctor, they can't give you the antibiotics for the flu if you don't catch it within the first 24 hours. While it's running its course through you, you have to drink plenty of water, get hydrated again, and you need plenty of electrolytes. They told us to drink a lot of Gatorade. I spent a week out of school just drinking Gatorade and trying to get better. And of course I thought I felt better because I was laying down all day and I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't tired because I didn't have to walk upstairs every day. So I thought I was better. I went back to school knowing I was still a little sick, but it wasn't contagious anymore. The next day I went through my first 2 hours and then I went to my 3rd hour class and my teacher told me to go downstairs to the office because you should not be in school right now. So I went to the office and I called my dad and I just went home after that. Thankfully I didn't get into a wreck because I was really tired. We went to the ER and they took us to a room, did my blood work, and came back an hour later and said, yeah, you have diabetes. I'm one of the healthier people in my family. You know, I work out every day. I don't eat healthy, but I don't intentionally eat garbage either. I just eat, you know, whatever mom cooks every day and whatever is at school. So they didn't have any room at that hospital that was by my house, so they took me to another hospital about 30 minutes away. And they wanted to make sure that I actually had diabetes, so they did my blood work like 2 more times. They put me on an IV and started pumping insulin in me. Being that I was 17 when I was diagnosed, I would say I became more independent after I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes than before. Because in my mindset, my thoughts when I was diagnosed were, you have to do what you have to do to survive. Everything else comes after. So while my parents were upset, while my siblings were shocked that I was the one who got diabetes, my brother and my sister, my grandparents were there, I didn't really get sad over it for the first week or so. Like, it never really hit me that, like, I'm sick, I'm diseased, I can't get rid of this. I was just thinking, you do what you do to survive, everything else comes after. My blood sugars were almost flawless for the first week. Nothing else was in my mind except my blood sugars. I had lows at night, but other than that, when I was awake, my blood sugars were almost flawless. That's really how it was for the first week. And then even carrying on to the second week, they were still pretty much the same, with just the exception of I'm studying for finals now because finals is in a week. What made this weird, I was diagnosed and my carb ratio at diagnosis was 1 to 10, 1 unit for every 10 carbs, with a correction factor of 1 unit for every 40 points I'm over 150, which now it's 120, but 150. One of the antibodies was gone. So there's 3 antibodies that they check for to have type 1 diabetes. One of them wasn't showing up. So they thought that was really weird. So they took my blood work one more time, and then they said, we'll show you your work next time you come back. The blood work for the second time only had 1 antibody that showed up. And when I went back the next time, none of the antibodies showed up. So I don't have any antibodies that show me for type 1 diabetes, and my carb ratio was 1 to 40. So my doctor thought I had MODY, mature onset diabetes in the youth, which is a rare form of diabetes in which people in your family have diabetes before you, and it changes one of the genes, and it is altered in a way that everyone in your family has diabetes because it just gets passed down from generation to generation. What's weird about it is I have type 1 diabetes, but everyone in my family before me has type 2. You know, my grandfather has type 2, great-grandmother has type 2, my cousin has type 2, my aunt has type 2, like everyone has type 2 diabetes. I'm the only one in my family with type 1 diabetes. As of right now, the doctor does think that I have type 1 diabetes with everything. I asked the doctor, do you have any other patients who are like me who have type 1 with no antibodies? And he said, yes, we have a couple patients who are like you with no antibodies who have type 1. The only difference is they're 1 to 10 carb ratio. They have 1 to 15 carb ratios. I'm a 1 to 40 carb ratio. There's really nothing that can validate whether I have type 1 or type 2. The only thing that can validate it is whether if I come out of this honeymoon and I end up going lower, or if I stay like this the rest of my life. The only way we can test the second one is if they put me on medicine like metformin or something, and then it doesn't work, so I have to go back to insulin. That's really the only way we'll know if I have type 1 or MODY. My current ratio is 1 to 40, and I take 8 units of Lantus every night. That is my diagnosis story. I hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know down below what your carb ratio is, or if you had a honeymoon phase coming out, because I just really want to hear how many of y'all had those. So if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, and you know, just keep smiling. See ya.